Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dharma Bum Temple and the Loving Kindness class for Wednesday. Oh my God, you guys are so hot. But that's okay. That's what we deal with in Buddhism. We deal with what's going on right now. Not about the past or the future. We deal with now, and it's right now. It's really damn hot. Even with the fans on, it's really hot, and that's okay. We can practice when it's hot too. You know, that's all right. And wherever you are, I hope it's a nice temperature. I was about to say, it just is what it is. That's a common saying that I say a lot, but recently, and I said it last week, and recently it's gotten a bad rep from someone using it in a very cruel way. So I will rephrase what I said yesterday or last week and just say that with regards to the lockdown and all of the ways our world is different now, this is what we have to deal with. We deal with what's in front of us. And it's not that we don't try to make it better. Sure, of course we do. But this is kind of what we're dealing with now. So I wanted to say that first and foremost. You know, there's something that I keep on coming back to, and it's not a Buddhist who said this, but it certainly applies to mindfulness and exactly how important the present moment is right now. Not right now, it's always the most important thing, what's going on right now. And it's a quote from Eckhart Tolle. And if you don't know who he is a British German man who now lives in Canada. And he had this kind of enlightenment experience. And I use that word enlightenment kind of loosely in this context. I don't know exactly how to put that, but I'm just going to use that since most people won't understand what that is. And so he talks a lot about the present moment. He has a book called The Power of Now and several other books relating to this, relatively the same topic, and the power of what's going on right now, the power of the present moment, the importance of the present moment. And he has this one quote that is really stuck with me, and it goes, "Life will give you whatever experience you need for the evolution of your consciousness. How do you know it's the experience you need? Because it's the experience that's going on right now." So what he means by that is what's going on right now is the most important thing that we deal with. What's going on right now is our teacher. What's going on right now is our friend, because it's trying to say, hey, this is what's going on right now. This is what will lead you to the, in his words, evolution of your consciousness, or the reduction of your suffering if you work with what's going on right now. Right? And right now it's really hot and it's really uncomfortable and I'm sweating and I'm not doing anything other than just sitting here. The fan on is really helpful, but it's still, I'm sticky and I hate being sticky. I grew up in the South and I remember being sticky all the time, the humidity, and I said, oh, I'm moving to California now. I'm not going to be sticky anymore. And why was I wrong? But it's what's going on right now. And it's the most important thing that I have to deal with right now. And so I'm going to deal with it right now by not suffering because of it. I'm just sticky. And that's just what it is. I did it again. That's just what's going on right now. Okay, so what I want to do first, and if there's anybody here who's new to an online class at the Dharma Bum Temple, or any class at the Dharma Bum Temple, please say hello. I would love to hear from you. If you're not new, say hello anyway. I'd love to know how you are, what's going on in your life. I'm not just saying that, I actually mean that. I would love to know what's happening with you. The amazing Travis will read everything back to me. And so what I'd like to do first is read something called the Metasuta. Meta is this word that we talk about when we talk about loving kindness. And it's an old ancient word. It comes from the Pali language, which is a language that we think is pretty close to what the Buddha spoke, the historical Buddha from 2,500 years ago. And it amazes me every time that I read this that this came from 2,500 years ago, because it's just as relevant today as it was then. It talks about how we should think about loving kindness and how we practice loving kindness. And it goes, "This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world." I love reading that. I actually haven't read that in several weeks. I don't know why. Maybe I just haven't thought about it. And so the Buddha is saying, hey, this is how you practice. This is how you get a pure heart. This is how you become a pure-hearted one, by not harming anybody. Right? Not harming yourself, not harming others. And this is how you practice loving kindness. You can do it in a seated meditation, which we're about to do in a few minutes, but you can really practice it at any time during the day. Right? Just radiating this kindness over the entire world. And so he's giving you this really important instruction, which I'm going to bring up when I guide the meditation. Traditionally we just say phrases like "May you be happy" and all those types of things. But the Buddha is saying here, you could just radiate kindness. You can radiate this from your heart. And then again, he also says in the sutta, wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. So you can do phrases, you can do radiating, and so we're going to give you the opportunity to do both of those things, or either one of those things. You don't have to do both of them. But either one, you can choose which one you want, whether you're just comfortable saying phrases over and over, or do you just want to radiate kindness to these people we're going to do this practice for. Travis, did anybody say hello?
Yes. Susan said hi.
Hi, Susan.
Cynthia said, hello, Alex, love you.
Love you too, Cynthia. Thank you so much.
Lori said, hello, good learning to be hot and sticky.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Jim said, hi, second time joining a class at Dharmabum Temple.
Awesome. Hi, Jim.
And Chu said, hello from Sacramento.
Hi, Chu from Sacramento. That was wonderful to have all of you. Thank you all for saying hello. You know, I love it when that happens too, because like I keep on saying, I'm staring into a camera when I'm doing this. The only other person here is Travis. And, you know, which is great. I love Travis. We all love Travis. But it'd be nice to see more people, right? And so this, you know, when you comment in the chat box and, you know, Travis is relaying this to me, makes me feel connected to you. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into our seated position. If you're seated on a meditation cushion, you just want to make sure that you're seated on the forward third of the cushion so that your hips are higher than your legs and your legs are, you know, crossed in a way that's comfortable for you. And so you're making this kind of tripod with your body, this nice, stable tripod. You know? So that helps you stay still. If you're seated on a chair, like I am, you just want to make sure that your feet are flat on the floor with your legs a few inches apart. If you're anything that I'm going to tell you, whether you're seated on a cushion or seated in a chair, you just want to make sure that your back is straight. And so I take my back off of the back of the chair and I make my back super duper straight and then I just kind of relax. So my core is still somewhat engaged in a way that's comfortable. And this kind of takes time to get used to. But my shoulders are dropped and I'm kind of comfortable that way. So your hands can be anywhere. So I like to, anywhere, yay. So I like to put my hands on my legs or in my lap. I kind of alternate sometimes. It all depends how I'm feeling. Our head is nice and straight, maybe tucking the chin under just a little. And our eyes can be closed, our eyes can be open. It's usually in the West just easier to close our eyes, but if you want, you can kind of have them half open, looking maybe 45 degrees down past your nose. And a lot of the statuary and a lot of the pictures that you see, pictures of the Buddha and different representations of the Buddha, you know, the eyes are normally like half closed. And when it's like that, you're not focusing on anything in particular, and you're just kind of focusing on, you know, or just kind of staring in kind of one general area there. So you can do anything. You can experiment. If maybe you try that for a little bit and you say, nope, I don't like that, and I'd rather close my eyes. And that's okay. It's really important that for your seated position that you experiment. And even when you're breathing, that you experiment, like taking different types of breaths. Maybe you're taking really shallow breaths and you're falling asleep and you know you're really, really relaxed and you're closing your eyes and you're just kind of going like this. And what you need to do is take some deeper breaths and wake up. Because you can't be really mindful if you're drowsy, right? So let's do that. Let's experiment when we can. And so don't get down on yourself when your mind gets lost in thought or you kind of lose your seated position and just kind of slump over or fall asleep or whatever it is. Just wake up and sit back up. That's okay. We really want to develop this attitude of no struggle. We struggle so much in our daily lives, whether we're in lockdown, whether we're not in lockdown, whether things are fantastic, we're still struggling. We're still stressed. And in meditation, we should be dropping that as much as possible. If you want to stress out, you can just say, okay, I'm going to put this stress over here, and I'm going to go pick it back up when I finish. You can do that if you want to. But for now, let's try to develop this attitude of no struggle. If we're falling asleep, just wake up and take some deep breaths. If you're really falling asleep, stand up, stretch, and then sit back down and start again. Perfectly acceptable. I mean, we really want to stay as still as we can when we meditate, because a still body equals a still mind. But when we don't be a perfectionist about it, right? Be a masochist about it and try to stay absolutely still when you're incredibly uncomfortable. Move if you're really uncomfortable. Okay. The rest of the instructions I'll talk about actually in the meditation as I guide it. All right, everybody, deep breath. Nice cleansing breath. Let's begin. So allow your eyes to close. Making sure you have that position that's nice and comfortable for you. Nice and sustainable, so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. You can even imagine yourself sitting underneath the Bodhi tree of enlightenment. Ready for the day's abiding. Ready for this practice of loving kindness. So at first, let's just begin to gently focus on your breath. And just to kind of get connected with the breath, let's take another deep breath all the way in. And all the way out. At first, just letting the breath be quite easy and quite natural. And paying a gentle attention to the breath here at the base of the nostrils. Feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. Following the breath all the way in. And all the way out. So just for the next few moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. So to begin our practice of loving kindness, we're going to start with a benefactor. And a benefactor is someone who has shown us great love and great kindness. Someone who it's really easy to do this practice for. You just think of this person and your heart starts to smile. It could be a relative that's not a romantic partner, brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, uncle, grandmother, grandparent, best friend. It might be. They could be living, they could be not living. Someone who's meant a great deal to you. And you can do this practice a couple of different ways, as we talked about before. You can repeat phrases for them, traditional phrases of loving kindness, like, may you be happy. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. And you can choose one or more of those phrases. Picturing this person in your mind's eye. Picturing this person's or understanding this person's wish just to be happy. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just radiate this loving kindness out to them. You can radiate a beam of loving kindness from your heart to theirs. And you can choose different colors. It could be a warm beam or something that's cool. It could be any color, any kind of pulsing or vibration. We'll leave that up to you. So for the next few moments, we'll do this practice of loving kindness for our benefactor or benefactors. It can be more than one. And now shifting our focus just a little bit from doing this practice for our benefactor to now we imagine our benefactor or benefactors doing this practice for us. And we can imagine our benefactor either repeating these phrases for us, either saying like, may you be happy, say your name. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. Or you could just imagine them radiating a beam of loving kindness from their heart to yours. So however you want to do it is fine. And this is where it helps to put your hand over your heart and notice, is there any resistance to when your benefactor does this practice for you? Any pangs of the heart, any tension that says, no, I can't let this in, it's too much. If that exists, that's fine. You just say, hello, tension. And take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Seeing if you can loosen that just a little and just allow that in. And of course, smile. Smiling always helps any meditation. So now we'll imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. Now to continue our practice, it's now time for us to do this practice for ourselves. If you want, you can continue to have your hand over your heart. And just gently, gently saying these phrases, repeating these phrases for you. May I be happy. May I be safe. Again, listening for any tension, any resistance. Can you breathe into that? This is the most important part of our practice, is the ability to have loving kindness for ourselves, to feel that in our own heart, to experience this for ourselves. It's only when we experience this for ourselves can we truly want this for others. Because we know for ourselves how wonderful this feels. So if you know how wonderful this feels, you want to do this practice for everybody all the time. So for the next few moments, let's just do this practice for ourselves. And finally, built up a lot of loving kindness for ourselves, for our benefactor. Now we can do this practice for all beings in all directions. So from your heart to theirs, just radiate out as far as you can go. Maybe it's just as far as your neighborhood. Maybe it's as far as whatever country you're in. Just go out as far as you can go. The potential here is limitless. So radiate loving kindness to all beings in all directions, as many as you can, as far away as you can. We'll conclude our practice by doing this for the next few moments. So just open your eyes when you're ready. And let's take the next 60 seconds or so in silence as you stretch your arms and stretch your legs. Keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you, no matter what you're doing. If you have a question or a comment, I'd love to know what your experience of meditation is or was, if there was anything that was difficult or not. Any questions about Buddhism, or just tell me what's going on with you. I would love to hear from you. You know how much I love that stuff. I just eat that up. So let me know. You know, one of the things that is going on, you know, I was talking about it being really hot and really sticky, and I'm really hot and really sticky, and that's what I have to work with right now, and how important that is. And during the meditation, I didn't think about that. And I didn't think about that because I took away its power by acknowledging it. I acknowledged that I was hot and I was sticky and I was uncomfortable. And just doing that, just acknowledging what's going on without a whole lot of histrionics and hyperbole and just exaggeration, and which is all just attachment and suffering, right? It's just, yes, it's hot, it's not comfortable. I didn't really think about that I accepted that this was the way that it was, and I'm going to focus on my loving kindness meditation. Of course, you know, it got darker and a little cooler, but it's still, you know, I'm still sticky. That didn't go away. I'm still hot. That didn't go away either. And, you know, so often this is the case when people encounter suffering. You get all these histrionics and hyperbole and a lot of this attachment and just pushing away of the suffering. And it really just exacerbates things, just makes it worse than it certainly has to be. And there's this, you know, idea and this practice, you know, however you want to, you know, call this, about how we just acknowledge what's going on, especially our suffering. We just acknowledge what's going on, right? We don't ignore it. We actually invite it in. Say, yep, suffering is just part of life. It's what happens when we get attached to things, and I know that I get attached to things, so when this happens, we just invite this in, and it's called inviting Mara to tea. Mara, for those of you who don't know, is in Buddhism is the tempter god. Right? Mara is, it's not like a being so much as it is kind of like a position. You know, in Buddhist lore, in Buddhist cosmology, Mara is really, really interesting because, you know, in these kind of 31 planes of existence that we talk about, and all of these 31 planes of existence are all impermanent. They're all part of samsara, the cycle of birth and death and suffering and all that kind of stuff. You might think that, you know, humans being fifth from the bottom, that Mara must be down here somewhere because he's a bad dude. But Mara actually is up here somewhere. He's up on, I think it's level 9. And so to get up there, you have to have done something really good, a lot of good karma, a lot of merit, and all these different types of things. But the problem with being in some of these wonderful realms of existence is that people get bored, or beings get bored, and they get restless, and they get naughty. And this is what happens to the person who becomes Mara. And it's really fascinating. I love Buddhist cosmology because it explains so much. It's just, it's all just metaphor, right? Because you can look at these 31 planes of existence as just mind states alone. And so, like, if you're more analytical, right-brained, even like if you're like an atheist or agnostic, and looking at celestial realms or anything like that is kind of offensive to you, fine. You could just look at it as mind states. But there's a richness to looking at it another way. And so that's how I look at it, and I think it's fascinating. And so what happens is, and this is the cycle after cycle after cycle, due to their karma, someone becomes Mara, and they try to, off the Buddha, or do whatever it is to the Buddha and us and all beings, and it never works, and so they're sent down to the lowest hell realm for 100,000 eons, and whatever. But they too can be redeemed, and I talked a little bit about that last week. And so it's a fun kind of thing to think about, I think, because it's not scary at all. Once you acknowledge these things that scare you, and once you go to the places that scare you, you'll find out they're not so scary at all. It just seems scary because whatever it is unknown. And sometimes you hear this called like our shadow self. It's sometimes like the wellness metaphysical world, you'll hear it called the shadow self. Shadow, all these other things just mean unknown. It's not scary, it's just unknown. So it really helps to go to the places that scare us, to these unknown places, and just look at them in the face and just say, oh, I see you. And the shadow, these scary places, Mara, hates to be seen, cannot stand loving kindness. That's like Mara kryptonite, being seen and loving kindness. To say, come sit down, Mara. And you invite this Mara to tea, and you talk about your fear of heights, and you talk about your fear of that's going on with this uncertainty with COVIDs and lockdowns and protests and elections and all the things that are going on in this world right now that cause a lot of this uncertainty and fear. So it's really helpful to go to these places that scare you, and all these uncomfortable places. And I think the first time it hurts to do it, but each time it's like anything else. It's just a skill that every time you do, it's like, oh yeah, okay, this isn't so bad, is it? So I like to do this a lot. This is actually kind of a big part of my practice. That when I get like this, scared or angry, or whatever the emotion is, something that I don't want to see, that I just say, okay. And sometimes I just sit perfectly still and just breathe, and just goes, okay, what is this? Oh, this is whatever this is. Or maybe I do a formal sitting in meditation. And each time that happens, there's a release that happens. This practice isn't about believing. It's about seeing and knowing. And so Mara hates to be seen. He hates, or she, I think Mara, she, doesn't matter. When you shine this light of awareness onto Mara, Mara gets, in the sutras, dejected and sad and leaves and departs, as they say. And, Mara doesn't like that a lot. Mara likes to hide in the shadows and likes to be the shadow. Say things like, it's okay if you eat half a box of those Chips Ahoy, Alex, with that milk, even though you're allergic to milk, that's okay. Because I did that like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I got sick. But it was so good. But I got sick. And my tummy hurt for a while. And that's just what happens. And so I want to talk about that just a little bit, just because I was sticky. It was kind of thinking about that. So, Travis, do we have any questions?
We do not, but Teresa shared that they had 3 benefactors who had passed on.
Oh, cool. And, well, that's not cool that they passed on. That's just cool that you were able to choose somebody that wasn't necessarily living because, I said, because I used to get this question like almost every time. Like, can the benefactors, do they have to be living? Well, no, if they are somebody who's passed on that is really meaningful to you, you can use them. It's perfectly fine. And so now I include that as part of my instruction. Yes, they can be living, they can be not living. So now I no longer get that question because I say that in the instructions. Oh, that's Teresa who said that? Okay. Thank you, Teresa. I really appreciate that. And that you were able to do that.
Susan shared, I struggled when my benefactor sent loving kindness to me because I didn't have her permission. I felt like I was making her do something she hadn't agreed to.
Then it's a benefactor, if that's the case. If you think you're forcing her to do something, is she really a benefactor? Because that's the definition of your benefactor. Your benefactor has been loving, who has shown you already love and shown you kindness. Someone who is really easy to have these feelings for. First of all. Second of all, what you're doing here is acting as if. You're acting as if this is true. This is a really important, skillful means right here. This is a very skillful practice right here. Acting as if something is true. Acting as if like your benefactor is doing something like this. Because when you say, well, what if? And there's that resistance, because you told me there was that resistance. Well, what if I'm doing, what if I'm forcing her? So you're basically just putting your hands like this, stomping your foot down and saying, no. And so that's just resistance. That's all that is resistance. And that's okay. This happens a lot. And I get this, relatively frequently. That, well, I don't want to force my benefactor to do anything. You're not. Or you're thinking too much of it. And all this is simply resistance. And so, like I said during the meditation in the instructions, can you breathe into that resistance? Into that, I don't want to, force it, and just let it happen. Because this person wouldn't be your benefactor if they hadn't already shown you great love and great kindness, right? If they've shown you great love and great kindness, why are you saying now that they wouldn't show you great love and great kindness? Interesting. Oh my God, it's so fascinating. That's interesting, isn't it? I hope that helped.
She said, thanks, Alex. I was just thinking too much. That's the key.
We all think too much. I think too much. We all think too much. It's okay. Think. have a time for a really quick one? If not, we'll just end, and that's okay. Okay, that could be good enough. Doesn't matter. We've had a good time. Thank you guys for coming. It was wonderful to have you here. I love doing this, whether I can see you or not. Although I am right now going to go and go somewhere cool. And maybe take a shower later. But thank you for coming. Let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this practice, this discussion be received by all beings. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are. Thank you for coming. See you next time, guys. I love you guys. Bye.